and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just a little too long. Now it's time for me to be strong. Hello, morning. I sure missed you last night. Goodbye, morning. You just won't do me right. Too long. Now it's time for me to move on. They say I'm hopeless. As a penny with a hole in it. Penny with a hole in it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They say I'm no less than up to my head in it. Ba ba ba.
I love that track from Deion Ferris, Penny with a Hole in It. I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour. As promised, a conversation in a moment with University of Oklahoma English professor Honorée Fanonne Jeffers, who will share her new book, which explores the journeys and possibilities of black women throughout American history. The text is called Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. I said earlier, I love that title, Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. We'll be joined by Professor Jeffers here in just a second. As I mentioned in our first hour today, we're tracking every hour. Hakeem Jeffers, Jeffries. I got a Jeffers in a moment, and a Jeffries who's on the floor of the House right now. Now 8 hours and counting. As he holds up the vote on this so-called big, beautiful bill. Again, Democrats call it the big, ugly bill. But Hakeem Jeffries is still going 8 hours plus. Let's just tap in for a little sound of what he's saying right about now.
To stand up for the things that matter, not as Democrats, independents, or Republicans, but as Americans. But the route, Mr. Speaker, that has been taken by House Republicans is to go it alone and to try to jam this one big, ugly bill filled with extreme right-wing policy priorities down the throats of the American people. That's why, in good conscience, we can't stand here, Mr. Speaker, and support this effort, this one big, ugly bill that hurts everyday Americans and rewards billionaires with massive tax breaks. America is too expensive. Housing costs are too high. Grocery costs are too high. Child care costs are too high. Energy costs are too high. Insurance costs are too high. America is too expensive. President Trump and House Republicans promised to lower costs on day one. Mr. Speaker, but costs aren't going down, they are going up. The policies unleashed by the Trump administration have been so chaotic, so all over the place, so much uncertainty has been created that the economy is being run off track, and nothing has been done to lower the high cost of living. In fact, not a single thing in Donald Trump's one big, ugly bill will meaningfully make life more affordable for everyday Americans, and that's just one of several reasons why House Democrats are a hell no on this legislation. We were a hell no last week, a hell no this week, a hell no yesterday, a hell no today, and will continue to be a hell no.
That's Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House. 8 hours plus, still going, holding up the vote on this big, ugly bill passed in the Senate earlier this week. I mentioned in our first hour today, Speaker Mike Johnson has said that Republicans are ready to vote as soon as Hakeem Jeffries stops talking. I assume, again, if he's saying they're ready to vote, they must have the votes. No reason to call for a vote if you can't pass it. And so whenever Hakeem Jeffries stops, we all know that Cory Booker went 25 hours plus on the Senate side. But whenever Hakeem Jeffries stops, the vote will be cast on this big, ugly bill, and we shall see in the coming days, weeks, months, and years the damage that's going to be done, sadly, by this bill. That's Jeffries, Hakeem Jeffries. When we come forward, we'll talk with Professor Jeffers. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Goodbye, yesterday. I just can't stay around. You see, I cried just a little too long. Now it's time for me to be strong. Hello, yesterday. Remember how it used to be. Goodbye, yesterday. I can't take you with me. No, 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 I can't. You see, you stayed just a little too long. And now it's time for me to move on. They say I'm hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. Yeah. As a penny with a hole in it.
From California to the Carolinas.
Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Did you know that more than 60 million Americans are about to hit the road for the 4th of July weekend? If you're planning on traveling this summer season, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. You can earn up to 35 cents every time you fill up.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app this 4th of July. Use promo code SWIM35 to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Get a limited time 4th of July offer when you download the free Upside app and use promo code SWIM35 for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SWIM35 for a 35 cents per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour. And in this hour, a conversation now with Professor Honorée Fanonne Jeffers about her new book. It's called Misbehaving at the Crossroads. Essays and writings. As I said a moment ago, we will continue to check in throughout the 3-hour program today with Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader, still going 8 hours plus in the well of the House. But I'm honored now to have on this program Professor Honorée Fanonne Jeffers. Professor, thank you for your patience. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
If I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I'm doing remarkably well, and I'm delighted to be in conversation with you. First of all, let me just start by just giving you some kudos. I was completely moved by your book, The Love Songs of W.B. Du Bois. I think that put you in a whole new category, at a whole another level. And everybody I know who got that book and read that book is singing your praises, including yours truly. I wonder if you just might reflect right quickly on that particular book and the huge success of the love songs of Du Bois.
Well, as I always say, first we thank God and then we thank Miss Oprah.
Oh, yeah.
because I have 5 books of poetry, and the poetry publishing business is much, much, much smaller. So even though, I had success with my 5th book of poetry, which won the NAACP award, I was just not prepared for what happened with Love Songs. And that was the only book that my family, even paid attention to. People in my college alumni circles. I went to a small HBCU called Talladega College in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
So it just completely changed my life. And I'm actually, on August the 1st, I'll be retired. So that success allowed me, I'm now a full-time writer. So it's been wonderful. I've been very blessed.
No, it's a beautiful thing to be able to spend all of your time doing what you love, doing what you were born to do, pursuing your avocation as a writer. So I celebrate that come later this year, you'll be able to just spend all of your time again doing what you do so well. I said earlier that I love this title, Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. Unpack that title for me, if you will, Misbehaving at the Crossroads.
So, I've always been kind of a rebel ever since I was a little girl. I never was a good little girl. And so I've always been, a misbehaving woman. I come from a line of misbehaving women who sort of challenged the roles that women should play while, doing all sorts of things for the community. In terms of the Crossroads is a place that is very resonant in African and African American communities. It's a place that is supernatural. People might be aware of Robert Johnson, the legendary blues singer and guitarist, saying he met the devil down at the crossroads. When we hear the term crossroads, sometimes you think of a place where, you're encountering trouble and you have to move forward. And I think the last sort of reference is to what Kimberly Crenshaw, the legal scholar, called intersectionality, Black and woman. So I'm not just a Black person, I'm not just a woman, I'm both. And when I walk out into the world, I carry both of those identities with me.
Yep. It seems to me, and I'll let you unpack it as you will, but it seems to me that for Black women, life in America has always been at the crossroads.
Yes, it has. And I mean, within our communities, we do a lot of work, a lot of unsung work, a lot of unacknowledged work. And, one of the things that I talk about in the book is outside of the Black community, probably Black men have the most, public trouble. But inside the community is where there's a lot of difficulty for Black women in our relationships, in the way that our labor is taken for granted, in the expectations that we have. And then, there are some very serious, I don't really go deep into this at all, but, there's very serious implications for Black women when they go into labor. There's great danger in the childbed. So there's a lot that Black women go through, but we've learned to be resilient and we've learned to keep going. But I think at this point, coming up, after the devastating loss of Kamala Harris, with 92% of Black women voting for her and really having hopes of what the symbolism and the actual power of that win would have meant. I think Black women are really at a very serious crossroads trying to figure out, how we move forward in this place called America.
We will come back to that. Put a pin in that for a second. I want to come back to this notion that this issue that you raised now. of the disappointment, the dejection of that black women felt when Kamala Harris lost that race. I'll come back to that in a second. But I'm fascinated now, and I was fascinated when I went through when I went through the book, of course. But as you say it again now, it brings us back to the forefront for me. And I've never quite thought about it in this way until I read your work. And again, you raised this issue now. But I wonder if you might say a bit more about this, how might I put it, this dialectic that you had me wrestling with of black men catching the most hell outside of the community, but black women catching the most hell inside the community. I'd never quite thought about it that way. I think you're right. I think you're onto something there, but just unpack that a bit more for me, if you will.
Well, I mean, this has been going on since, we got off the slave ship. In the 17th century, people really talk about, racism, but they don't really talk about how in its earliest stages, slavery really created this enmity between black women and black men, changing the line of descent for enslaved children from their fathers to their mothers. Mm-hmm. And so, I won't go too much into the weeds on that because I talk about it in the book and I try to make it very accessible, But I think that one of the things that I've noticed in Black communities is no matter how difficult things are for Black women and their families, we're always expected to keep a public face in the community. We're always expected to just suffer in silence. Again, we're always expected to do all of the labor in the churches, all of the labor in the home with very little power. Right about now, and I'm in my late 50s, so, I'm not really looking, to get married again. But when I see, young Black women and they're seeking partners, and there's always this sort of power tug of war, I see the word submission come up a lot. And, that is very much a word, people take it back to the Bible. But what people never really talk about, and I talk about this in the book, is at the same place in Ephesians that talks about women submitting to their husbands, wives submitting to their husbands, is the same place where they talk about slaves obey your masters. And that's very deeply problematic. That is very deeply problematic. You have submission of wives in one chapter, and then you have slaves obey your master in the very next chapter. It's right next to each other. So I think there's that. There's also the fact that, and I talk about this both with my friends and in the book. Patriarchy was never meant for Black men. So this whole thing about protecting and leading and providing and doing all of that, it sounds real sexy, but there are very few Black men who can do all of that. And when people look at feminism in Black communities because of the issue of racism, they always look at it as taking something away from Black men. But what I believe is that feminism gives something to Black men because there is a real burden on our brothers to do all of this in a society that does not mean for you to have power. And then it also forces Black men to be stoic, to never be able to express their feelings in any kind of way except anger or rage. So we have all of this going on. We have power struggles in Black communities, but we also have, you know, the struggle to cast off generational trauma. And I think that we're never going to be able to move forward if we do not deal with that. And the biggest thing is to look at how white men in power created this enmity between Black men and Black women. And now there's this sort of thing where, you know, the Black men feel like if I don't get the same power as a white man, then I'm not a man. But when you look at white men, do they really look happy in this country? They are miserable. That's why they acting so low down right now. Happy people don't do what they're doing. So patriarchy isn't working for them either. So, you know, I mean, at my age, when I was a younger woman, writing was all about me, but now it's about my community.
Professor Jeffers, you got me going. You you got me going, and I wish you were here right now so you could see all the Black men in my building, in my studio, who were just in this room jumping up and down. It's like the Holy Ghost just hit all of them, right?
Oh, you're so nice.
No, I ain't being nice. I'm keeping it real. These Negroes are jumping up and down. I wish I had a camera. I could show you right now how the Black men in this building, in this studio, my board op, my producers, everybody, you got everybody on fleek right now. When we come forward, I don't even know what to say after all that. I'll just say more of Professor Jeffers when we come forward, talk about her new book, Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. I am delighted right now to have her on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Heading out for the 4th, TSA says be ready with a real ID or passport. 94% of travelers are compliant, but if you're not, expect delays and extra screening. Here's TSA spokesperson Jessica Mail.
But we definitely expect there will be travelers this weekend who maybe have not traveled in the past 2 months, so it'll be kind of a new test for travelers and for us to see where that number shakes out.
She says plan ahead to keep your trip smooth and give yourself lots of extra time. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries delivered a marathon speech slamming a GOP-backed bill tied to President Trump's agenda. He warned it could cut Medicaid and SNAP benefits, calling it an attack on the social safety net. And rainy weather could impact 4th of July celebrations across Florida and the Southeast, where many Black families gather for reunions and festivals. A possible tropical system is brewing in the Atlantic, and storms are expected to stick around through next weekend. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
I'm a bad man.
There were two special moments at Dodger Stadium last night when the Dodgers played the Chicago White Sox. Freddie Freeman delivered a game-winning single in the bottom of the ninth inning to cap a 3-run rally and give the Dodgers a 5-4 win. In the sixth inning, Dodgers pitcher Clayton Kershaw struck out White Sox third baseman Vinny Capra to reach 3,000 strikeouts. All 3,000 came during Kershaw's 18-year career with the Dodgers. Kershaw became the 20th Major League pitcher to add the legendary milestone to his Hall of Fame resume. Kershaw will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer 5 years after he retires. The Lakers may have gotten the center they've been looking for. They signed free agent DeAndre Ayton to a 2-year contract. Ayton, the number one pick in the 2018 NBA draft, averaged 14.4 points and 10.2 rebounds last season with Portland. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, man. Hey, what's up, What's that station you listening to? Oh, man, you don't know? That's Talk Radio. KBLA, 1580 AM. Check it out. 1580 KBLA. KBLA AM. 1580 Talk Radio. Progressive.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're celebrating our 4th anniversary, and this track right here is the gift one of our devoted listeners presented to us.
Where you get some information, get a true education, just to know. Ooh, yeah. 1580.
How cool is that? Having a member of our KBLA delegation write us a song. Stop it! Our listeners love us and there ain't nothing we can do about it. Wouldn't want to. Thanks to Cardell and everybody else for turning on KBLA Talk 1580. We love you right black.
KBLA 1580 Talk Radio.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk Radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Made fresh daily in the Mert Park,
Los Angeles, California.
You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I went to the crossroads, fell down on my knees. Ain't nobody seem to know me. Everybody pass me by.
It's Robert Johnson at the Crossroads. We are honored in this hour to be in conversation with the brilliant professor, Honorée Fanonne Jeffers, New York Times bestselling author of the book, The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. I was just laughing a moment ago thinking about her saying that she is now going to retire later this year and spend all of her time writing. We should all be so lucky to have Oprah put her imprimatur on us, such that we can retire and do what we do. You get retirement, and you get retirement, and everybody get retirement. We should all be so lucky. But I'm delighted that Professor Jeffers will, after August of this year, spend all of her time writing because she's awfully good at it. Her new one is called Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. And sometimes I just hate when I have to take these breaks. They just sort of get in the way. She was on fire, like a Pentecostal preacher tuning up. Professor Jeffers was on fire, and I hated to step in there. But let me see if we can pick up where we left off. And let me set you up this way. I wonder if you might continue talking about, how might I put it, this vortex of the intersectionality that has, in fact, defined and complicated the lives of black women for centuries now, Professor Jeffers.
Well, it was something that I didn't think, I thought a lot about sexism as something that was endemic to my experience. But in terms of racism, bless my stupid heart, I really thought I could achieve out of racism.
Ooh.
And yeah, I really did. I thought, well, if I'm successful, if I'm cute, if I learn how to dress, because I was like this big nerd, coming up and stuff. And then I think, it was very late, in my late 40s, in academia, which is why I took the Underground Railroad up on out of there. I was the first Black full professor in the history of my department. And the first Black person to sit in a named endowed chair. And things still didn't change, and I won't go into it, but I began to realize that this was going to be sexism and racism, the crossroads, as it were, was going to dog me my entire life. And so then I began thinking, and this was with love songs. Love songs is really when I stopped being careful about how I wrote. And it was a very scary book to write. I mean, especially because it was, 797 pages. And I remember this colleague of mine, because, they used to always talk about I was a poet and, with all that entails. And I remember he emailed me and he said, 800 pages? And I said, well, y'all needed to know what I was working with. And now you know.
Now you know.
Okay. Now you know.
F-A-F-O.
I don't talk about it.
F-A-F-O.
That's right.
F-A-F-O.
Right. I don't talk about it. I be about it.
There you go.
Okay. So it was then when I began to think about, when I was writing love songs, that I wanted better for my baby sisters. Me, I love men, and the men still love me.
All right,
they may not always, but I still, get the brothers trying to holler, but I'm not, I've been married and I know what that's about. And so, but I have peace. I have my plants. I got my hardwood floors, et cetera, et cetera. But I want my baby sisters who still want to be in, marriage. I want better for them. And so I think there comes a time where you begin to look at yourself less as a student and more as an elder, and that's probably because, my father was a well-known Black Arts Movement poet, and just about everybody in his cohort is gone. There, just a few of those elders. And definitely, I think, my mentor, Lucille Clifton, passed away 15 years ago. But then when Toni Morrison died, I think that hit so many Black women, not just academics, but around the globe, and then I started to realize, well, it's up to me to talk about these things, but when you do talk about being a feminist and you're against patriarchy, one of the reasons I do make sure that I always look cute, my face is always beat, because, people are like, oh, you can't get no man. That's why you a feminist. I'm like, I can get your man. I can get somebody else's man. Okay, that is not what this is about, And so yeah, that's why I wrote this book. And this book is my most terrifying book because I don't just talk about American history. It's really a memoir where I braid in American history. So I talk about my parents. And, in Black communities, you're not supposed to do that. You definitely are not supposed to criticize or question the choices of your mom. So that was a very, very terrifying thing. But I hope that what people see is just my utter devotion to my mother and the sacrifices that she made. But as I began to look back on the things that she had done, all the ways she kept it together while there was all this chaos within the family, all this ugliness. And I thought, and it was a very selfish thing. I decided, I don't want children. I married. I was married for about 5 minutes. And I love, 3.5 years, I loved my husband. But I was like, there's no way I can keep playing these games, I want to be free. But then I realized a free Black woman is a dangerous thing. And that happened, I was like, oh. Because I just thought if I achieved all these things, if I won all these prizes, if I did all of this, then all would just open up, like Moses parting the Red Sea. And then I began to understand. Now, individual action is great, but when you have systemic structural issues going all the way back to the 1600s, And so then I thought, well, this may not get changed in my lifetime, but I'm going to move this thing forward. And then my baby sisters are going to move this thing forward.
Speaking of moving this thing forward, when we come forward, I want to go backwards. She said so much here that I wish I need 3 or 4 hours for this conversation. The show ain't but 3 hours long, and I only have 1 hour, Professor Jeffers. I should have given her all 3 hours of this program today. But she said so much that I want to just sort of interrogate, but I'm stuck on this one piece, this one phrase she used earlier in reference to her writing. That moment when she stopped being careful. That thing hit me. What does it mean to stop being careful in whatever your work and witness is? What does it mean to stop being careful in whatever your avocation, your calling is? I want to dig into that. This notion of ceasing to be careful. You're listening to Professor Honorée Fanonne Jeffers on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening.
Charitable listening.
It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. And I thank you, thank you.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. I do not consider myself a fan of Sean Puffy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, Brother Love Combs. But one doesn't have to be a fan to acknowledge a simple truth about his recent jury trial. I think the primary reason he was acquitted of those sex trafficking and RICO charges is because he was overcharged in the first place. Mine is not to opine on his guilt or innocence on any of the charges the feds brought against him. But I predicted months ago that he would beat the most serious charges because, as usual, prosecutors have a really bad habit of overcharging black men. Dave Chappelle said it best, Puffy is in a RICO case all by himself, man. Hilarious and arresting at the same time. When prosecutors put a target on the backs of black men, they throw everything at them just to see what sticks. And too often, just like in the Puffy case at the very end, they move to dismiss some of the charges and then double down on the ones they think they can win. It's racist and it's wrong, and somebody ought to say so. I think I just did. Not for the benefit of Puffy, but on behalf of all the other black men who have been and sadly will be woefully overcharged in the future. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Professor Jeffers, my time is getting tight, but tell me about this moment when you stopped being careful in your writing.
Well, I think as my mama used to say, there were several variables. There was my divorce. There was, when I had finally accomplished so much. I won the National Book Critics Circle Award for the love songs of W.B. Du Bois. And Toni Morrison won that same award for Song of Solomon. And I kept expecting things to change, for the world to open up finally for me. But I think the biggest thing that happened, and I talk about this in the very first essay in the book, was on January 6th, 2021, when I began to understand that as much as I had hoped that Barack Obama would have changed this country permanently, that history was once again just coming up. And I thought, if not now, then when am I going to fully be myself? Because I think other people wanted to see what happened on January 6th as an anomaly. But what I saw, knowing as a student of history, was that these things come back around every so often. Every time Black folks move ahead, then all of a sudden, the white folks try to, stop that progress. And I thought, we're coming into a very difficult time. Yeah. And I can either keep, trying to work within these parameters, and it was also the pandemic. I was like, I could go outside, somebody could breathe on me and I could be dead in a matter of days or weeks. Yeah. I also think that's why you have so many of these white folks acting like this, because they haven't really, how you say about little kids, they haven't dealt with their big feelings about the fact that we were all facing a life-threatening event. Yeah. And it was terrifying and it was traumatic. And while I was, thinking about that, I thought, I am not going into the last third of my life being terrified of white people and what they're going to think.
Hold that thought right there. Our remaining moments with Professor Jeffers when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward?
Because he's not going back.
And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
LA County's Justice Care and Opportunities Department, also known as JCOD, is changing the justice system for Angelenos. If you or someone you love has recently been arrested, come home from jail or prison, or has been justice involved, JCOD can help. We offer access to housing, employment, court reminders, clothing, education, and more. At JCOD, we believe your life should not be defined by your worst moment, and everyone deserves a second chance. JCOD's Justice Connect Support Center is open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Call us at 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit us at jcod.lacounty.gov. You can also find us on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and YouTube at LAC JCOD. All services are free and confidential. JCOD serves the justice-impacted population all across LA County. Your future isn't behind you, it's waiting. Reach out by calling 833-LAC-JCOD. That's 833-522-5263, or visit jcod.lacounty.gov.
Catch Prep is now enrolling for summer credit recovery in fall 2025. As South Los Angeles' top-performing high school in English, math, and college access, Catch Prep is welcoming all 9th through 12th graders to enroll now. Catch Prep offers a small, supportive, and safe learning environment to help all students succeed, so that all students feel valued, respected, and motivated to reach their full potential. For the past 20 years, Catch Prep has helped more students of color gain admission to top-tier universities, with our graduating seniors earning a total of $3 million in scholarships, more than any other school in Los Angeles. We are dedicated to helping all students turn your college dreams into reality. Catch Prep is now enrolling. Visit us online at catchhighschool.com or call 323-293-3917. Space is limited. Please enroll now for summer credit recovery and fall 2025. Call 323-293-3917 or enroll today at catchhighschool.com.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with the author of the book Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings, Professor Honorée Fanonne Jeffers. I've got a tight 2 minutes here. I want to give all 2 minutes to you with this particular exit question, which is what happens in our lives when we stop being terrified. As you mentioned a moment ago, when we stop being terrified, what happens? I got 2 minutes. It's all yours.
I think when you stop being terrified, you can consider, if I may, I'm a Southern woman and I'm a faithful woman, you can consider what your anointing is. And I feel like what I'm doing now is not just art. When you're young, you're selfish. But as you get older, you begin to think about what you want to leave in the world. And so I thought about what my anointing is. I thought about what my mother said to me that the day I was born, she looked in my face and saw all that would come to pass. And that's why she named me Honorée, because that means the honored one. So I feel like I'm walking in my purpose. And I just want to leave something good for folks.
You have done that, and you are doing that, and you will continue to do that. The anointing is upon you. Or put another way, you got the gift, you just got to use it, and you are using it. The book is called Misbehaving at the Crossroads, Essays and Writings. The prior book, of course, New York Times bestseller, Oprah book pick, The Love Songs of W.B. Du Bois. You are all that, Professor Jeffers, and I am delighted. I've delighted in more ways than I can tell you in having you on this show in this hour. We must do it again somewhere down the road, but until then, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Tavis. I appreciate you.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Heading out for the 4th, TSA says be ready with a real ID or passport. 94% of travelers are compliant, but if you're not, expect delays and extra screening. Here's TSA spokesperson Jessica Mail.
But we definitely expect there will be travelers this weekend who maybe have not traveled in the past 2 months, so it'll be kind of a new test for travelers and for us to see where that number shakes out.
She says plan ahead to keep your trip smooth and give yourself lots of extra time. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries delivered a marathon speech slamming a GOP-backed bill tied to